Hi, Decoders. This week, we want to talk about the particulars of making a choice from your head or your being. Big difference. Let's begin. Hi, I'm Kiran Trace. Welcome to Humans Decoded, a story of hobbits, fairies, elves, dwarfs, gnomes, and humans. If you get lost at any point, there is a deep dive on all the different avatars in episode 1. It includes notes. Thank you for joining us in a fun little chat about the vast potential of our human makeup. Hi, Cami. Hi, Leela.
Hi, guys. It's great to be here again. All together once more.
Hi, everyone. Yay. I love this week's topic. I think when we first hear about how to make choices with more intelligence or choices that are delicious to our being, it's so easy to understand it as just this flip of, all the efforting program that we've been running for all of our lives up until this point. But that would be a mental flip, and that's not the whole story. So we want to crack that open and get into the juicy bits.
Yeah, and I find that I'm not usually in my body. It's definitely a challenge for me, especially as a fairy. So often I'll be like, have I felt my feet today? And it turns out not so much. Because for me, emotions can get very loud and captivating. So that's the sort of scape that I'm occupying. So once I finally feel into my body, it feels like more accurate information to navigate than all the emotional whirlwind that's usually happening for me.
I'm really glad to talk about it because even as you're talking, I'm coming into my body more. And, there's just a lot of information in the public space about manifestation, how to dream something into being. And, we three talk about that a lot in the podcast also. But it's really important to know from where is that occurring. So we want to take today to be very practical and very specific and very precise about initiations that aren't really spoken about. So what we end up with, kind of as Leela was pointing out, is we mentally make choices whether we're aware of it or not aware of it because it's coming in subtly. And so then we think we're not making a choice mentally. We think I'm making a choice from my heart. I made a choice from my intuition. I made a choice from my gut, but really you didn't. It was just a habitual pathway of mind that was subtle and unconscious or subconscious. And so I'm excited to crack this open today and put some more practicality into the conversation.
And I think this is the perfect point to introduce our beloved term delicious and really open that up. What do we mean with it? What does it mean, Kiran?
If you sign up for the newsletter, you're immediately sort of invited into this really beautiful class I created called the 9-Day Challenge. And in the class, there's a really big in-depth story about this and how I came to develop it and how you make choices from it. But the short form is this. When I first had my massive awakening and I could barely even recognize any level of material form, and I didn't quite understand what to do, so I traveled and I visited a lot of incredible teachers, really beautiful people who became friends and colleagues, and still none of them really had a good answer for me. Certainly not practical, not specific, not detailed. So the closest was my friend Ajashanti, beautiful, incredible teacher. He was like, I don't know, you just do the next thing. Just do the next obvious thing. Which isn't very specific. Not enough for me. Somebody like me who has this enormous habitual program towards suffering, the next obvious thing for me are subtle layers of mind, story, belief systems. It's not this, it's not like the next obvious thing at that time in my life was coming up under me, obviously, in coming from crystal clarity. So in the end, he said that I should be the one to figure it out. That would be my offering to humanity. So I did, and that's what happened. And what I watched transpire at a very deep field of awareness was how the birth of material form arose. Because I had this massive awakening and I had this privilege to see from that depth. So I was watching this vast field of silence pulsating, and this oneness was sort of pushing towards my being. Not my head, not my story, not my personality, not my identity, but towards what was profoundly nourishing or delicious to my being in that exact moment. Not a bigger moment, not sort of eventually delicious, not the end result will be fabulous. Not if it all moves in the way I think it's moving, it'll end up in this brilliant place. Not that. But the precision of like this very breath, this right here under my ass. And it's not even like this moment, this one right here is the preparation for the next one. And from the, from the place of that oneness, I could witness this occurring and allow for it. Like, don't override it with my baggage, with my habit, with, we call them here on the podcast and in class, we call them pain bodies. They are these sort of belief systems, and they can be quite invisible. And we do override what is nourishing in this moment all the time. Like, you listening right now might be exhausted, but you're like driving somewhere, or you might be restless with the zoomies and you're forcing yourself to sit. Like, I don't know what's, but it can be invisible and we walk past it. And I recognized slowly, very slowly, y'all, if I didn't get in the way and I just hung out there, there was this extraordinary intelligence. And I'm going to say like a level of miraculous would start unfolding. And then it was so consistent. And I practiced this, I'm going to say, for at least a decade, because I was awake for that long before I started teaching. So I had a lot of data when I started to teach this practice. And really at the beginning of teaching, it was just inviting other people and showing them very precisely and very practically how to get the baggage out of the way so they could pause, kind of lean back and hear that moment in their being. And when other people started to practice this, it was really the same consistency. So consistent. This kind of miraculous, profound intelligence. And it didn't really matter if you were male, if you were female, if you were an adult or a teenager or a child, if you were in the first world or if you were in the third world. It didn't matter what your culture was. You could be in Peru, India, Africa. It was the same consistency, because of course, at that moment of creation, this moment right now, right here, it's not happening in the past, it's happening in the depth. And in the depth of this moment, this one moment, we are all the same potential. And then how we move through that potential is unique. And that can be uniquely wired to our habitual bullshit, or it can be uniquely wired to the authenticity of your being.
It's so amazing to hear that, and just so lovely to have it broken down. It's like treacle just seeping into my being. And even though I know this practice really well, and delicious is, the compass that I use for my life, hearing the breakdown just feels like, oh, yeah, like, let's really be with this. This is what it is. Like, that is delicious.
It's the heart of it all, isn't it? And it's such a beautiful reminder that obviously the heart of it all, it's already inbuilt, like the option to make these intelligent choices, the option for delicious is inbuilt into the moment. It's like the wave that lifts up your being is already there. Like sometimes it seems like, I don't know, it's somewhere out there. I have to paddle for the wave. I have to go chase the wave. But no, it's already happening. It's coming. Like just chill, just pause, just wait.
Yeah, and I think the point you're making is so excellent because so many of our belief systems, like this baggage that says, I'm not safe, injustice, or I'm a failure, I'm being left out, I don't belong. They pick up this tool and they try to use, like the belief system tries to use the tool in order to belong.
Yep.
In order to be safe, in order to be loved.
Guilty.
And then it's going to fall apart like that slushy wave. And you were trying to surf. You paddled out so freaking hard and then it just turned to slush and it gets glitchy and it doesn't work.
I'm having this real-time realization because right before we showed up to, sort of get to the heart of what's delicious, I was painting. And then I showed up to the meeting grumpy as fuck because I'm like, just want to paint. And now I'm seeing it's not about getting to the end of the painting. It's just this moment. And what is this moment bringing? And what it's bringing here right now is this cohort, this meeting together. And that, yeah, it's like, oh, that's where the aliveness is right now. That's where actual reality is versus the story of somewhere else. I need to finish this painting so that I can Paddle
out. I got to get this painting done, people. Don't bug me with this whole conversation about one moment in our bodies, in our being.
I got stuff to do, guys.
But the place of just hanging out there and sort of trusting the wave is going to come, the hanging out there, not doing anything, it's such a courageous place. And I guess the main challenge, or one of the biggest challenges here, is what you mentioned at the beginning of the episode, Cam, how you're not always in your body. And I think that's probably true for most people, for all of us. That
me, just before this conversation started.
Yeah. Awareness is just so habitually parked somewhere in the thought, somewhere in the head, and then it's impossible to hear what this delicious movement of the moment is. And in order to hear it, awareness has to be in the body. And I mean, the reasons why people are mostly in their head, they're various, and I think it's all pointing to, the baggage we carry to our pain bodies, because if you're aware of the body, if awareness is in the body, then you're just so directly meeting your stuff, you're meeting your baggage in a way that's, ooh la la, confronting. It's spicy, as Cami sometimes says. It's hot. And I don't think we just have the tools to work with that confrontation, like the tools Kiran, for instance, teaches. We don't just have them, we don't learn them from our parents, for instance, and then it's just like, oh my God, my stuff, I'm so overwhelmed, like what do I do with this? And you don't quite know how to deal. And I'm not saying like, oh, most people are in their head, as if that was a problem or if it was something wrong. Like, it's so understandable and there's so much compassion for that movement. It's just pointing to that's part of what makes it so hard to actually hear or to actually feel, I guess. That's what it ultimately is, to feel in your body that the wave's coming, it's moving. You don't have to do anything. You don't have to figure it out. It's already happening.
Yeah. I love listening to this. I'm like, I'm there. And I'm even in this moment realizing like I so had a story like Cami's story. Like I want to rest or I need a break or, just before I came into the meeting, it wasn't obvious. It wasn't super clear that I was not in the body. And in the body, this is really where the nourishment is. Right here, right now, this conversation.
Yes.
And so it's really landing as we're talking, and from the outside, if you're just hearing this, it's really hard to have faith that a choice made from somewhere other than your head could be intelligent. Mm-hmm. And, I use the quote all the time from Albert Einstein. I'm not going to quote this exactly in this moment, but the gist is this, that he doesn't define himself as a genius or a brilliant. What he knows is that he would follow his thinking all the way to the stopping point of where his thoughts ended. And what he would do is hang out there, and then information would come in. And he said this was unlike his colleagues, where they would think as far as they could, and then they'd start circling back again and looping. And so he was able to come up with these incredible formulas, or maybe download, or just have it, arrive, that of course changed the entire world, the theory of relativity, et cetera, et cetera. Because he hung out in silence and he let something else come in with the information. So it wasn't from his head. And all we're saying is that you can be actually very precise and very practical about where clarity can be found and how you get there. Because, that's basically what the three of us are practicing all the time. In real time, there's the story of painting, or there's a story of a rest, or the story of, and then the actual landing in the moment, landing in the body, listening. And then it's literally came right up under, like, this is the nourishing option.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, it's really challenging when you're just so caught in your story that it doesn't feel like anything else could possibly lead to a breakthrough. I can think of a friend I have, and she's been really struggling to find work. And it reminds me of something I heard Kiran say to someone, which was they're in a relationship with not having a relationship. And so with the example of my friend, her main relationship where she puts all her time and energy is, I don't have a job. Like, I don't have work, versus the invitation of the actual moment is a lot richer. So in that moment, instead of looping the story over and over again, I don't have work, I have to find work, I just don't have it, like, I don't have work. The invitation could be like, hey, like, be in the body. Maybe it's delicious to take a nap, go outside and feel the sun on my face. And even though it sounds preposterous to the mind that could lead to work, that's actually what is releasing the grip and opening the opportunity, and then making you available to life, because life is really fucking kind. It's so generous. It wants everything for you. But it's these belief systems that we hold on to so tight that are like, no, if I let this go, I won't have anything. But it's actually the opposite. Like, the belief system is the one that's limiting you. Like, life is going to open things up for you. So yeah, if you release the grip, then you're opening up for life. Like, that's what comes flooding in.
I think we said it once on this podcast, if there's an opportunity to talk about surfing, we have to do it. And I feel like I have to. Because Cam and I just spent the morning surfing, and everything we're saying is just like bobbing in my body as I sit on the board and I wait for the wave, and they're not coming, but then they're coming like 3-4 foot waves, really fucking hardcore waves. And it's like holding on to that belief system is like trying to sort of fight or to sort of resist the force of the wave, but you're not gonna win. It's gonna smash you into the sand. And yeah, but then also at the same time just hanging out, sort of waiting, not paddling, not sort of taking the wave, is also not going to bring you anywhere. So I'm often observing the flip side of this whole thing of like holding on to the story of I have no work, which is this romanticized version that I see on social media a lot, the Lala version of like, oh, I'm manifesting, da 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 da. And I just...
The universe will take care of me.
Yeah, the universe is my sugar daddy. And I just see so many other energy workers or spiritual people who post about manifestation where it's like, oh, I'm just letting go and the universe is providing and I'm manifesting my dream life. And then it's sort of like about cars or, I don't know, certain clothes or a boat.
Vacations. Yeah.
Just all these external markers for almost like this is what manifestation is. And I'm not saying that these things necessarily are bad. Like a boat can be fabulous. We love boating. We love trips. But it's not pointing to the heart of it all, to that actual delicious of your being. There's still this I there who wants to have things, who wants to have a certain, external proof for, look at me, I'm manifesting so well. But yeah, that's not coming from the moment itself. That's not the actual wave. That's the sort of me trying to do something there.
Yeah. We have this habitual baggage. I'm a failure, for example. And it can really convince us that we desire something without us noticing it wasn't actually, that desire is not actually delicious to the being in the moment. And Cam's talking about that beautiful example of a friend. There's also sometimes we're really actively desiring like the fight, and I do this a lot with people who swear to me, like, oh no, this meeting was really delicious because of the outcome. And I say, well, your physical body, like the actual body, when you were sitting in the meeting, is there depletion? Where's the depletion coming from? And how is that feeding the next decision and the next decision and the next decision, so that I'm a failure feels like it's solving something, like it's becoming valuable, right? Like I'm getting worthy by doing this, and I'm doing something in this meeting, and then this outcome is going to arrive. And in our heads, it seems so delicious, but all of that was literally walking past some miraculous and incredible opportunity from life. And our baggage is very skillful at masking desire. I'm not loved, so I'm going to be loved like this. I don't belong. This is going to make me belong. It's these subtle little micro moves. It's not so obvious. So it might feel really delicious to, like, I don't know, put up your hair and put on some lovely clothes and go dancing. Put on a little lipstick, sing a little song. You'll get some energy and feel great. Do a little dance, put a smile on your face. You're going to get there, but if we come into the actual body, and if we come into the actual being in a moment, it's more like you just want to curl up in bed. You want to rest. You want to just read a book. And it's so easy to walk past life's opportunity for you because it's not meeting the goal of the belief system. To be productive. I'm not getting out of the house. Like, I'm not out of the house yet. So, like, okay, let's just shake it off. Put some lipstick on or whatever, like put on a nice tie, put on a good jacket. It'll help you get out of the house. You'll be productive. Get that workout in, people. Take those greens.
Yeah. And meanwhile, your body's like, my favorite pajamas, please.
Yeah, exactly. And in that
Something soft.
and in that beautiful curled rest, this people forget that that's a contribution to humanity. That's an enormous contribution to peace.
Yes.
Like we're Pain Body defines productivity as doing something.
Yeah, and I also love that breakdown because then you can see so clearly that it's probably some version of I'm a failure, I don't belong, some kind of belief system that wants the boat, that wants the perfect summer body, that wants to have like a reveal of like elevated, better version of yourself. Ta-da! Here I am, bitches.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Versus just the sweet simplicity of curling up in that moment and reading the book and hearing it in the body. That's just the ultimate joy and fulfillment. And like Kiran says, like that resonates throughout time. Like that's sweet enough. Like you don't need more than that. And compassion for the stumbles because it's not easy.
No.
And I have an example of how these belief systems can come in and you just get tangled up in them and you faceplant. And yeah, because it's not easy. That's why we have so many tools and community.
Hey, Decoders, we have so much to say about this particular topic that we're going to make this a two-parter. It seems to be our theme since the 100th episode. So we're going to pause right here, leave you on the edge of your seat for Cam's fabulous example. I have one. Leela has one. God, we have a lot to say when we're really coming from the body. There's just so much to say. So stay tuned next week. In the meantime, practice watching yourself. Are you stepping over this particular moment in your body right now? And we love to hear from you. We'll be back next week.
Love you guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you for listening. We obviously love hearing what you think. Your feedback helps us make a better show for you to listen to. So feel free to comment, and you can do it at Facebook, which is the Humans Decoded podcast. And if you're not on social, you can always email any questions to us at outreach@kirantrace.com. And thanks for listening. We love you.